Well, hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube art tutorial channel. Well, good afternoon everyone. I'm on Galleywood Common this morning. This afternoon, and I just brought my little 3x3 sketch pad, and just thought I'd do the tower and the church. So there you go, a little bit of shadow to put in, and we should be there. Well, I'll just crack on. I'll show you at the end what it looks like. Well, there you have it. It just needs signing, and that's how I sign at the moment. Just Steed dot crossed. There is a lovely little quick sketch in my very small sketching pad, which really gives me all I need to know to take home and produce a painting. Well, I've just got back from walking the common and around the church, and as you've seen, I've done a little sketch in my sketch pad. It's a lovely little sketch pad that you can put into your pocket. It's manufactured by Pink Pig. It's a company, great British company. All the papers, all the fixes and fittings to the pads are made in the UK. So it's nice to support the UK, and they're lovely little pads to take in your pocket, make a sketch. Now I'm using this wet brush to just damp areas of the graphite that I've used, which will sort of soften everything really and seal it to the paper. I'll show you in a minute what it's like. Well, there you have it. Quite simply done with a graphite pencil and my wet brush that, well, does what it says on the tin really. Well, I've just returned from a little walk onto the common and around the church really. Made that little pencil sketch. I've added a little bit of colour just to give me an idea. Now I'm going to paint a full-blown painting onto watercolour paper. Wish me luck. Going straight onto dry paper with this one. That'll be the spire. Trying to pick up the general shape without getting too wide at this stage. Leaving some white edges. Quite a tall spire here in Galleywood. And we may as well do the actual church itself. A bit of perspective there. The rest of the tower itself. That will be higher and that will be lower. And then we just come down like that. And we come down like that. Window there, little things going on. Buttress area, we'll sort those out shortly. There we go. And that's the way you line your paintings out if you've not got any drawing you want to put in. So that's pretty much it really. And now I'm working my way down. Just leave that line so we can see the corner. There is a belfry window there, so we'll leave a little bit of white there. There's another window there. Right, now we come to the main sort of part of the church roof. That slips down a little bit lower, and then that slips off like that at an angle. Quite a bit of depth to that. So we want to come far enough along with that. It's a large church, so it needs to be seen as such. And that's the roof for the building at the back, or the church roof at the back. It's got two roofs on that. There we are, picking up a little bit more colour. Window, large window there on that gable. There we go. Storage box area here, which is quite interesting. And that tends to slope like that with the roof. Initially white, or the doors are anyway, but don't make that too big. And that comes forward and goes back. There we go. Right, the rest of this needs to go in. Let's just make that a little bit longer. We'll just show a little bit of roof area like that. That finishes a little bit tighter on there. And we have 3 windows. So 1, 2, 3, 4 actually. Correct. 4 windows. 1, 2, 3, 4. They do have associated buttress areas, but we'll deal with that as it comes. And they're fairly high up, those windows, so we'll attend to all of that in due course. And it more or less finishes there. It's what they call laying out, really, just with a weak paint. It can all be corrected if you don't go too strong with this colour. Large window there on that gable, small part of the roof that goes back like that, and there we have it, the main part of the building marked out. Trying to use this loose sort of style at the moment, which you know, bit of warmth in the sky. Working onto dry paper, but of course it's still on the damp side. There we go. Trying to keep that running through across the church like that. Top of the church tower, right there. Go. And then as we come in at the top, we'll add some yellow. I like a bit of this warm tone. Mix it on the paper, if you like. That's where the light's coming from. So that's where you need to show it. Good, that's that. Go back down either side with this warm tone. Try to add a bit of colour to this, really, a bit of life, a bit of light, and of course some distant greenery here that's fairly tall. Put that side as well, just to marry that up, and that then comes down into what is the car park area. As I say, I've been up here many times, so you tend to get an idea of what the place is like if you visit it often. You get an association with the place, you know, and that does help an awful lot when you come to understand what you're painting. Perfect. Now we're going to put in the foreground grass. Just a blue and a yellow. Try and finish it there, I think. That finishes there, that finishes there, just roughly. Not putting any of the gravestones in at this stage. Maybe the tops of a couple there, just as we run out of picture. Not a bad idea, I suppose, show a bit of light on those. That's that. Shadow side of the tower, of the spire, going in. Isn't it lovely, this watercolour painting? It can be so suggestive. You know, you don't tell the complete story. That's what I like about this. Don't tell the viewer everything about the church. Belfry window. Main window. It's all about light. And that's it. And of course that comes down like that. Then we have that which is bleeding out. Look at that. Isn't it fantastic? It's not what we planned, but then again, we never really planned anything, so we're not really concerned. You know, you go with the flow, and if the flow is on your side, it's a winner. If it's not, well, so be it. That's what I say. And this then can come down to the top of that storage box. I always have that storage box tucked in nicely there, and that pretty much finishes that at that angle. Go. Perfect. We can cope with that. Then we have the storage box there. In shadow. As I say, I'm putting in all of the shadows first. White door there. Shadow underneath there. That's the door. Large door at the front. I have a little bit of bricking at the base, not sure on that. Just sorting out the buttress areas and their associated shadows. Just see the fronts of those buttresses. Of course, we've got half a window. Like that. Then we have another buttress area there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. Right, so that doesn't put any more windows in than we've got. Buttress windows, right? Fair enough. Getting too fussy. Let's just forget that. There we go. Let's not be too concerned what's windows and what's buttress areas, because it's just getting too complicated. There we go. That's better. It's all about the impression of what you see and not what you see. And this is where we pull it all together.